Hello and welcome to the Potty Mouth Preacher, transforming women's minds, bodies, and souls, one F-bomb at a time. I am Lisa Czak, your host. Don't forget to like, subscribe, rate, review, all of the things. There is still time, barely, to sign up for Worthy Woman Wellness Retreat and the Caribbean happening in May over Memorial Weekend. This is for you, woman. If you are having trouble putting on your own oxygen mask first because you're taking care of everybody else at the expense of your own health, you feel like you can't breathe, you don't have 2 seconds to yourself, you keep stopping and starting, you're stuck on this cycle of gaining weight and losing yourself over and over again. This is the retreat for you. Click the link below to reserve your spot. We only have a couple spots left, so hurry up. And on today's episode, this is for you if you have ever overeaten, if you have ever eaten a box of Girl Scout cookies, if you have ever eaten anything and then beaten yourself up over it. Stay tuned. I gotcha. Before we get started, as always, I'm going to help you shift gears. I know you got a lot of stuff weighing heavy on your heart. Your mind is reeling. You have so many responsibilities. You have so many roles that you play every day. You haven't had 2 seconds to yourself. Go ahead and close your eyes. Give me 3 deep cleansing breaths in, really on the exhale, letting that shit out. Pretend like your device that you're listening to me on has a trap door on the back of it, and you're opening the trap door, and with each exhale, you're letting out all of those roles and responsibilities, all of the thoughts that aren't serving you, all of the shame, fear, anxiety, doubt, frustration, not being able to breathe. Let it all out. Leave it all on the outside of your device. You're not going to need it in here. All those roles that you're happy to play and all your responsibilities as a wife, mom, friend, daughter, daughter-in-law, mother-in-law, grandma, employee, employer, student, coach, healer, all of those responsibilities, just leave them on the outside of this device. Allow yourself the next 25 minutes of just being you. Just being you. And give me another deep breath in. Exhale. Another one. One last one. Before you open up your eyes, I want you to set your intention for how do you want to feel while you are listening to me? How do you want to feel the rest of your day, knowing what you still have to do after you're done listening to me? How do you want to feel? Setting your intention, remembering that you and only you get to decide how you feel. No one else is in control of that. No one else can take that away from you. Not even the asshole drivers on the road cutting you off can take your intention of how you want to feel away from you. So set that intention, allow it to just flow freely through your body into every cell of your body so that you carry it with you. And I want you to remember that intention because it's going to come up again in about 5 minutes when we get into the real talk of our show. So now we're shifting to celebrations. Celebrations are those little steps maybe that you don't even notice that you're taking along the way on your journey. evidence that you are being the woman God created you to be. We have a tendency to focus on only the negative, right? Only like the bad things that we think we do. And we're missing out on all of these seemingly insignificant thoughts, decisions, behaviors, people we allow into our life that are actually evidence that we are being the woman that God created us to be. We're no longer becoming anything. We are being right here, right now. My celebration is I'm going to read. So one of the things that you get when you're a private client with me, which is very valuable, is you get to text me 24/7. Now I don't answer 24/7, right? It's, I answer Monday through Friday, 9 to 5. But you can text in there all you want, right? 24/7. And I do that because then we get into our sessions and I don't have to say to you, well, what happened since I saw you last? We already know, we've already worked through it. We're on to the next best thing once we get into that session. That's why the women I work with progress so quickly, so much quicker than therapy, right? I got out of the therapy world. I used to be an addictions counselor. I used to be in the therapy, the mental health professional world. I got out of that because who wants to talk themselves to death, right? We don't need to do that. We don't need to analyze the shit. We just need to heal the shit and move on. And that's what we do. So anyway, in Voxer, one of the things that I have a lot of my women do is tell me their celebrations in Voxer because I want them to start remembering. We are rewiring your brain to patting yourself on the back more, to saying, okay, I'm doing a lot of things right. There's a lot of reasons for me to love myself, right? There's a lot of reasons to love myself like God loves me. Even if I mess up, I can still love myself. I can still find good things about myself. So that's one of their soul works that they get when you sign up with me as a one-on-one client. You got to write your celebrations every night in Voxer. So this one just meant, so it's a celebration of hers, but it's also a celebration for me because it's a reminder that this is my ministry. This is my calling. This is me being the woman that God created me to be. So she said, I'm glad we had our call today. I really appreciate what you do and how you do it. It can't always be easy to hear what all your clients contend with, yet you hold our hands regardless. That empathy and space held seems so underrated in our current society's pace. And she did emoji. Thank you. And thank you to the client who wrote that to me. Her name is Evelyn. I have a couple Evelyns, so I'm not giving anything away. So thank you, Evelyn, for that love that you send my way. I have such appreciation for that. And she is spot on when she said, how does she say it? That empathy and space held seems so underrated in our current society's pace. And it's so true. We are responsible for giving that to ourselves though, right? If we're not getting that empathy and that love from external sources, other people in our life, we can always rely on God to give it to us. God says, come as you are, girl. Even though you're a hot mess, come here. I love you anyway. Which brings me to our topic today, which is binging. I work with a lot of women who overeat, who binge. Right now, I'm not going to diagnose them with an eating disorder. I'm not doing any of that. They've already done that, right? These women that I work with they tell me I've been to psychiatrists, psychologists, therapists, pastors, you name it, I've been there. Eating disorder clinics, challenges, all kinds of weight loss programs, and it's not until they come to me that they finally heal this once and for all. And it's so simple what I do, really, right? It is so simple. It's love and empathy towards yourself. But what happened today is, So remember how I told you that my clients have to write their celebrations every night to me, so they remind themselves of the evidence of them being the woman that God created them to be. Well, this one woman in particular, let's call her Sally, because I don't want to give her identifying information away. So Sally said to me, I noticed in Voxer that she did not write her celebration for the evening. And this was the first time we were doing this. So I keep you accountable. That is my job, is to keep you accountable and to call you out. When you're not doing what I tell you to do, I call that shit out, right? A lot of people, like gyms, thrive on you not showing up. They count on you not showing up so they can make money and not have to do work, right? I don't operate like that. Like, I call your shit out. If I tell you to do something, you tell me you're going to do something, I'm going to hold you accountable. So I, of course, went into Voxer and I said, hey, it's nighttime. Where are your celebrations? I can't wait to hear them. And she said, I don't have any celebrations. I was like, ooh, girl. And that happens sometimes. A lot of times when you first start with me as a client, I'll say, what are your celebrations in the beginning of our sessions, just like I do on this podcast. This podcast is basically a free coaching session you're getting every single episode, okay? Worth like $500 every single episode I'm giving you for free. You're welcome. Now actually do it, woman. Do it. So anyway, she said to me, I don't have any celebrations because I just ate a sleeve and a half of crackers. And she's been really battling with overeating. Overeating is the main reason she hired me. She's like, I don't know if I can ever stop doing this, just beating herself up over it. So I also I introduced her to what I introduced you to at the beginning of this episode, setting your intention for the day. And the reason that is so crucial to do every morning when you're in that sleepy, state, and your subconscious brains. Our subconscious brains are stupid. Our subconscious brains are naive. Your subconscious brain believes whatever you tell it. If you tell your subconscious brain that you are Santa Claus, you will go around buying people gifts, right? Eating cookies, getting a big old belly, and ho, ho, ho. What does Santa do? Ho, ho, ho. You'll be ho, ho, hoing all over town and not even know why. Because your subconscious brain does not question the commands that you give it, which is why the I am that you see on the walls, I am that I had you do in episode 2 in the previous episode. It's so powerful because your subconscious brain just believes it, which is why we do it. So I had her set her intention for the day. Because remember, your intention, nobody can take that away from you. However you decide you want to feel for the day, you can decide. Now, that doesn't mean you're not going to have other feelings that come up, right? Say your husband's being a total jerk to you. You're like, oh, he is being so impatient and nasty with me. I'm angry and I'm choosing to stay peaceful because my intention was to stay peaceful. And the key is you set your intention for the day. No matter what happens, you choose that. It is a choice. I go to a church called Joy Church, and the big saying there is it's a choice to rejoice, which is very true, right? It's always a choice. But you don't want to sweep your feelings under the rug. That's not what we ever want to do. That's how we gain weight and numb out and get sick. We want to acknowledge how we're really feeling. I'm feeling really aggravated and I'm choosing peace because that was my intention that I set before I even woke up in the morning, before my eyes were even open, when I was in that sleepy subconscious state. Because remember, my subconscious brain believes whatever I tell it. So anyway, back to this woman who said, I have no celebrations tonight, Lisa. I just ate a sleeve and a half of crackers. So I said to her, this is a great opportunity to practice your intention for the day. And I couldn't have planned this better if I tried. So I asked her, what was the intention that you set this morning? And she said, I said 3 things I was grateful for, which is one of the soul work I gave her. And I set my intention for today, which was self-care. She gets the opportunity now, right? Because she set her intention for self-care, and now God and the universe is opening up and saying, here is an opportunity to practice self-care. Even though you ate the sleeve and a half of crackers, you can still love yourself right here, right now, just like God loves you. Is God looking at you and saying, you did what? You ate a whole sleeve and a half of crackers? That's it. I don't love you anymore. I'm done with you. You're the most horrible person in the world. You're going to be fat forever. You're never going to stop binge eating. All these things. No, God would never say that to you. That's the devil that says to you. The devil actually tempts us, right? The devil was saying to her, here, Sally, eat these crackers. Oh, have one more. Have one more. You deserve it. You've been doing so well with your eating. Eat the whole sleeve, Sally. Oh, you deserve another half a sleeve of crackers. Go ahead and do it. Then she does it, right? Then she eats the sleeve and a half of crackers that the devil tempted her to do. And then the devil shames her. Then the devil's like, I knew you would give in. You're so weak. You're always going to be fat. You're always going to be weak. Food will always win over you. That's what happens. So you get yourself out of that by saying, okay, I am upset with myself that I ate a sleeve and a half of crackers, and I'm still choosing self-care. And in this case, self-care is seeing she said she felt miserable about it. Okay, let's practice self-care, which is not bubble baths and mani-pedis. Yeah, that could be part of it. That's like an indulging thing, right? But true self-care is saying, okay, I just did this thing. I have a lot of shame over it. I have a lot of guilt over it. I'm feeling miserable. Where am I feeling this in my body? Closing your eyes, putting your hand where you feel it. Maybe it's your heart, maybe it's your stomach, and sending it love, because that's what God would do. God is saying, it's okay, girl. Like you ate a sleeve. I don't care if you ate 1,000,000 crackers. I still love you just as you are. And it's saying that to yourself. It's saying, okay, who gives a shit if I eat 5,000,000 crackers in a setting? I can still love myself right here and right now and not beat myself up over it and not let the devil win. Tell the devil to go back to hell where he belongs because he tempted me. I gave in. Now he's like, I told you so, told you so, told you so. He's one of those little brats on the playground. Get the hell out of here. I'm going to love myself no matter what I eat or how much I eat. Registration is closing soon for Worthy Woman Wellness Retreat in the Caribbean this May. There's still time though. By the time this airs, there's probably 1 spot left. So click the link below, grab that last spot, and we will see you on Worthy Woman Wellness Retreat. Hurry! Registration's closing, and then it's gone forever and I'm not doing it again! You are worth it! Alright, so tell me, what was the biggest thing you got from Simpatico by the Sea?
That you can't let everyday things stop you from focusing on you. Like, shit happens and you gotta stay focused and work on you.
What is the biggest thing you got from Simpatico by the Sea?
I learned to love myself.
Oh my god, I'm gonna cry.
For the first time in a long time.
And since you've been back, how are you doing?
Awesome.
In what way?
Practically none of my clothes fit me anymore, and I'm 27.8 pounds down.
In a little over two weeks. You were stuck for a long time.
Yeah. So I got that kickstart and I'm going to appreciate it while I can because I know at some point it's going to stop. And I'm going to have to work twice as hard.
Those last few pitches, always the hardest. And then you wrap it all up with a shiny bow on top by saying, thank you, God, right? For giving me the opportunity to practice my intention, which was self-care. I mean, I can't plan this shit even if I tried. This is how I know I'm doing God's work. This is how I know this is my calling, because shit like this happens all the time with the women I work with. I can't wait for the retreat, because on the first retreat I took people to, if you want to read about that retreat, the very first retreat I took women on, then grab my book, Portal Tears, Drowning the Demons Beneath the Fat to Keep the Weight from Coming Back, and head to the Destiny chapter. And you will be shocked at how many things on that retreat, like I never could have planned it, right? It just kind of happened. And so many lessons were learned, just like what I'm describing to you, right? This is divine intervention. This is God giving her evidence that to trust in him, to trust in herself, and that to love herself no matter what she eats or how much she eats. That's how you're going to battle the devil and the temptations, right? That's how you're going to battle the overeating. Instead of telling yourself, I am an overeater, her new I am is actually, I am a divine being. And forgiving herself, right? So she overate, she abused her body, which is God's temple. It's not, our body isn't our temple. It's not a temple. It's God's temple. So if we're doing things to our body to abuse it, we need to go to God and ask him for forgiveness. How many times do you have to go to God and ask? So this particular act, right, where she overate a sleeve and a half of crackers. How many times, put in comments, how many times do you think that she's going to have to go back to God and ask him for forgiveness? 1 time, no times, 5 times, as many times as it takes. Put in comments what you think the answer is. And the answer is, I would do a drum roll, but the dogs are actually sleeping and quiet, so let's keep them that way. You only have to ask God for forgiveness once. That's it. One and done with God. If she goes back to God and asks him a second time, and she says, God, I'm so sorry I abused your temple by eating a sleeve and a half of crackers, God's going to go, what you talking about, Willis? For those of you not old enough to know that reference, I don't know, Google it, okay? So we only have to ask God for forgiveness once. The reason I'm telling you this is because the same thing applies to yourself. How she kept beating herself up over eating a sleeve and a half of crackers, right? This is insanity. And then she kept going back to herself and like asking herself for forgiveness over and over again. No, girl, once. If God only requires one asking of forgiveness, that means that you only have to forgive yourself once and you can move on. Forget it. One and done and it's over. Those crackers, that sleeve and a half of crackers is history. That's in the past. And what happens is we don't forgive ourselves, or we keep thinking we keep beating ourselves up over it, which is a sign that we have not forgiven ourselves, or we think that we have to keep asking ourselves for forgiveness. And we're carrying that weight of the sleeve and a half of crackers into the future. And it keeps piling up, piling up, piling up. Before you know it, you're 80 pounds heavier, like what happened to me. And you're looking in the mirror going, what happened to me? I don't understand what happened. Why can't I fix this? All right, so your soul work is going to be Love yourself just as you are, even when you mess up. You're gonna mess up, girl. Ask God for forgiveness once. Forgive yourself once and move on. Send yourself love. When you do something that you're ashamed of, when you're eating, it's Girl Scout season. This used to be the belly of the beast for me, right? I would seriously eat like a box of Samoas, a box of Thin Mints in one sitting, and not really have shame about it though. That's even scarier. That's a whole nother episode. We're going to have to work on that. However, if you are eating, it's Easter candy season. Holy shit, guy. Woman, let me tell you, Easter was an excuse for me to buy the best candy for my daughter's Easter basket, eat it all in my closet, and then have to go back out sometimes 2 or 3 times to buy more Easter candy. That's me. If that's you, drop something in comments or send me an email. I get it. Like, I've been there. That's why I was saying, I know I've been there. And I remember a time saying, I don't know if I'll ever be able to stop doing this. Like, how am I ever going to stop doing this? And I couldn't stop on my own, but with God's help and knowing that this is God's temple, not my temple or a temple, that I was protected and that I could actually do it. And all of the healing techniques that I do on my clients, I did on myself first because traditional therapy wasn't working, counseling wasn't working, none of that was working. I turned to the coaching world actually to help me heal. And I developed my own ways of healing, and that's what I help you with now. And so I'm telling you, if you struggle with overeating, binge eating, next time it happens, see where you feel it in your body. Put your hand there and just send it love. Just don't try to make the feeling go away. If it's shame, like maybe in your throat or something, you feel like a lump in your throat, or maybe you feel sick literally from eating all of that, put your hand there. Just send it love. Don't try to make the feeling go away. Don't resist it. If you do resist it, send the resistance love. And just sit with it. Allow it to stay as long as it needs to. And eventually you will get to a place of peace. Peace is inevitable. I can promise you that. And simply forgive yourself once. That's it. That's all you need to do. And set your intention. So let me recap the soul work. I feel like I get off track. Set your intent every morning before you wake up, when you're in that sleepy state, set your intention for how you're going to feel that day, no matter what happens. Okay? I just ate a box of Girl Scout cookies. I'm ashamed. I'm still choosing peace, and I'm going to send myself love. So set your intention for how you want to feel that day. And remind yourself, that's every morning. Let's just start there. Let's just start there with the soul work. And if you happen to find yourself overeating, see where you feel it in your body, send it love, and forgive yourself once. And lastly, don't forget to reserve your spot on Worthy Woman Wellness Retreats in the Caribbean and come as you are. I want you to come as the hot fucking mess that you are, sitting here, right now, watching this, okay? Just like Jesus, you're going to come to me and my daughter who are doing this just as you are, so that we can meet you where you are on Worthy Woman Wellness Retreat and shine a light on where you're headed. Oh, I can't wait. Click the link below to book. And remember, you are worth it.